Yo, what's good, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you my exact ad structure and how I run profitable meta ads. In my TikTok, I explained quickly on my exact structure, but in this video, I'm going to be going more in depth, more deeper in exactly step by step how I run this on meta ads. So just for context, this is the exact structure and how I scaled my client Ryan from 18K a month to 100K a month using this exact system. Before we actually get into meta ads, I want to show you visually how I structure my campaigns and why. Because if you don't understand the structure first, your ads are not going to make sense. So I run my ads like a funnel system. As you can see here, I run the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And these are all very important to hit. I'm going to show you exactly why. So the first part is the top of funnel, and it's basically you're going to be targeting a cold audience. So people who have never seen your brand, never seen your shop, never been to your site, never heard of you, and you're going to convert them into customers. Next, for the middle of funnel is targeting an engaged audience. So these are people, they've seen your brand on Instagram, they've seen your shop, been to your website, engaged with your Instagram, but they just never bought from you. So your goal here is to make them trust you and explain to them why they should buy from you, so you convert them to actual consistent buyers. Next is the bottom of funnel, and this is your warmest audience. So these are people who they trust you, they bought from you before, so you want to retain them or you want to keep them coming back and turn them into loyal customers. So they will shop with you no matter what. Every single time you drop a new product, they will always shop with you. If you're only hitting one part of this funnel system, you're leaving money on the table. Another important aspect of this structure is that I also run a scale campaign on top of these campaigns. So think of it like this. These are going to be mainly your testing campaigns. You're going to put your new creatives in, and then you're going to put the winners from these campaigns and put them to the scale campaign. This is something you want to put majority of the spend into because these are already proven winners, and you're not going to be wasting money and hoping for sales because you're spending money on what's proven to work. So you're going to be running your ads profitably. So now that I explained my structure visually, I'm going to show you guys now on meta ads how I structure my campaigns step by step. All right, so now we're in Ads Manager, and I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to make each of these campaigns. So top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, and scale. So first, we're going to go into the top of funnel, and the real difference between all these campaigns is really in the ad set level. So when you're in the ad set level, you want to scroll down all the way to the audience section, and this is for the top of funnel. So you want to make sure you go to show more controls and exclude existing customers, engaged audience, and the last 180 Instagram engagers. This is so that you only target new set of eyes, only new people who have never ever seen your brand before. So when you're making these audiences like existing customers and engaged audience, for existing customers, all you're gonna do is include your last 90 purchasers from your pixel or your website. And for engaged audience, you're gonna be including people who've added to cart, who visited your website, who initiated checkout in the last 90 days, where you're going to exclude your existing customers or your last 90 purchasers. All right, when I was editing this video, I forgot to actually explain how you can create these audiences inside meta ads. So I'm going to show you right here. So on the left side, you're going to see audiences. You're going to click this. All right, so when you're in audiences, you're going to click create audience, custom audience, and then go to your website. All right, so this is for your engaged audience. And what I put here is all website visitors for the last 90 days. I put add to cart for the last 90 days. I also included initiate checkout for the last 90 days. And I excluded my purchasers from the last 90 days. So you're going to call this your engaged audience. After you're done naming it, just click create audience. All right, now for your existing customers, it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to go to create audience, custom audience, and then go to website. And then all you're going to do is include purchasers from the last 90 days. So once you're done naming it, click create audience. And then for Instagram engagers, also coming back to custom audience, and then different series actually going to your Instagram account. And then make sure you have your client's Instagram, and then put people who will engage with this professional account for the last 180 days. There's another thing that's very important when making these audiences is that you want to keep in mind how big your audience is. So let's say your client is making less than 10K a month. That would be a small ticket client. So when you're making these audience retention days, you want to have a bigger frame. So keep them at like 180 to 90 days. Higher ticket client, let's say they're making more than 100K a month, you want to keep it more narrow. So 30 to 60 days, because there's so many people coming into that high ticket client, into that website, that making it too big of a frame is too big of an audience. It's too broad. You want to narrow it down to people who have recently visited that site. So once you keep that in mind and you put the appropriate amount of audience retention days, you can just create the audience. All right, and last thing before we get to the campaigns, there's one thing that you should be doing before you actually start running ads, and it's defining your audience segments. So you're gonna go on the left side here again, go to advertising settings, and then from here, you're gonna click audience segments. So I already defined my audience segments, but make sure you put your engaged audience in here and your existing customers in here. This is so that Meta knows and so that you yourself know where Meta is actually spending, whether it's in new audience, engaged audience, or your existing customers, and seeing if your campaigns are actually spending in the right audiences. And the way you want to check if it's actually spending on the right audience segments is if you go here to breakdown, you go to audience segments, and then you're going to click this arrow to expand, and it's going to tell you right here, I've spent a total of 1,000 for my client ad account, and it's spent mostly on a new audience, and it spent a bit on existing customers and a little bit on engaged audience. And this is exactly how you want it to spend, because you want most of the spend going to your new audience, and then about 20 to 30% going to your existing customers and your engaged audience. And then after you make those audiences, you're just going to put them in here and make sure on the right it actually shows broad. That's exactly what you want to be hitting for these campaigns. Now for the middle funnel, what you're going to be doing differently here is actually going to further the limit reach of your ads. So you're going to further limit reach of your ads, and you're going to go to custom audiences. And if you guys remember, the middle of funnel is only engaged audiences. So they know about you, but they just never bought from you. You're going to add exclusions, which is going to be your existing customers. You want to make sure it's only targeting an engaged audience. Also, y'all want to make sure to turn this off. Use this as a suggestion, so that on this side on audience definition, it's only narrow. And that's exactly what you want to hit for a middle of funnel. Now for the bottom of funnel is pretty much the exact same thing. You're going to further the limit reach of your ads, and you're going to go to custom audiences and include only your existing customers. And then you're going to do the same thing. Turn off use as a suggestion, and just to make sure, you should be seeing narrow here. That's how you know that you actually made this campaign right. And now for the scale campaign, this is actually the easiest part, because all you're going to be doing is not touching anything in the audience. You're going to keep it strictly broad and let Meta do its own thing, find its audience and the right customers, and use the proven winners that you put in the scale campaign and run these ads profitably. Now, another thing I want to make clear when running these campaigns is for the middle funnel and bottom of funnel, you're going to see a higher frequency, and you want to make sure you keep an eye on these frequencies, because if it's way too high, that's a sign where you just turn it off. So like a middle funnel, you would typically want to turn it off at around 8 to 10 frequency, and then for a bottom of funnel, you want to make sure you turn it off when it reaches like 15 or 17 frequency. And for this structure, you want to treat these top of funnels, middle funnel, and bottom funnel kind of as a testing campaign. You're going to find winners in each of these campaigns, and you're going to duplicate these into the scale campaign. And Meta's going to find which one is the strongest from the proven winners that you've gotten from these campaigns. And it's going to spend most on them. And the way you're going to scale your scale campaign is you're going to increase the budget by 20 to 30% every 3 days after you've known that it's a profitable running campaign. And after testing with so much money in my clients' ad accounts, I found that this is the most proven and profitable way to run your ads, because you're hitting every type of customer audience. You're hitting a new audience, you're hitting an engaged audience, and you're retaining your current customers. Alright, that's it for my ad structure video. If this helped, make sure I hit subscribe and drop any questions you have in the comments, and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you in the next one. Love.